It's just a statue, relax. Watch, Matt, I'll kiss it. What's the worst that could happen?
Darren, don't. The elders said never touch it.
The canyon of Vel'Morah had swallowed better men than Darren Cole. He knew that. He just didn't care. The expedition team, 6 humans, one half-translated alien guide named Sho, had been walking for 3 days through the bone-dry ridges of the planet Kathanu. The sky above them was the color of burnt copper, and the twin suns cast shadows so sharp they looked painted on the ground. Nobody spoke much anymore. The heat had stolen words from everyone. But Darren was never quiet for long. He was the team's archaeologist, young, reckless, hired more for his ability to squeeze through collapsed tunnels than for his academic reputation. He wore his brown leather expedition jacket like armor, and he carried a smirk like a weapon. He used both constantly. When they turned the last bend in the canyon wall and saw her for the first time, even Darren went silent. She stood 40 feet tall, carved from a single slab of pale stone, impossibly detailed. An alien warrior queen, blue-skinned, broad-shouldered, clad in interlocking ceremonial armor that no human sculptor could have imagined. Her face was serene, eyes closed, head tilted slightly down as if she were sleeping standing up. Her hair fell in rigid stone ridges down her shoulders. 2 curved horns rose from her temples like crescent moons. Vel'Morah, Sho whispered, pressing both hands flat against his chest in a gesture of reverence. The sleeping queen, 1,000 years dormant, the last of the Kathanu warden class. She's gorgeous, Lyra said softly. She was the team's xenobiologist, sharp-eyed and careful, always the one who read the warning signs before anyone else.
She's a rock, Darren said.
Show respect, Sho said sharply, turning to him with wide, frightened eyes. You do not joke near Vel'Morah. The old texts say she listens even in sleep. Darren crouched down to examine the base of the statue. Strange carvings spiraled around the plinth, a language no human had fully decoded. He pulled out his scanner, waved it across the surface, and frowned at the readings. Energy signatures. Old ones, but present. Hey, Darren, called Marcus from behind him, the team's geologist, already grinning. You gonna kiss her, or what? The whole team laughed. Nervous laughter, canyon laughter, the kind that only lives for a second before the silence swallows it again. Darren stood up, looked at Vel'Morah's stone face, then at his team, then back at the face. You know what? He said slowly. I think I will.
Darren.
Lyra's voice dropped to a blade, but he was already climbing, boots finding the carved ridges of the plinth, fingers gripping the armor plate detail on her lower torso. He pulled himself up until he was level with her collarbone, standing on a carved shoulder brace, his face near hers. He pressed both palms flat against her stone cheeks like he was cradling her face. He leaned in, closed his eyes dramatically, and kissed her. His lips touched cold stone. For exactly 1 second, nothing happened. Then the ground moved. Not an earthquake. Something different. Something internal, like the planet itself exhaled. The stone beneath his hands shifted in temperature, going from cold to warm in a single heartbeat. The carved ridges of her hair separated, millimeter by millimeter. The stone skin softened, faintly luminous blue, light bleeding through the cracks between her armor plates like veins waking up. Darren fell backward off the shoulder and hit the ground hard. He lay on his back, winded, staring up at Vel'Morah as her eyes opened. They were the color of deep ocean water, blue-white, glowing gently, ancient beyond anything his brain could properly register. She did not look confused. She did not look groggy from sleep. She looked awake, completely, immediately, terrifyingly awake. Her head turned, stone grinding against nothing, smooth and slow, and her gaze found him on the ground. The whole team was frozen. Vel'Morah's lips parted. Her voice came out like a frequency more than a sound, deep, resonant, felt in the chest before heard by the ears. The canyon walls vibrated with it. You doomed your species. Darren blinked. What? She stepped down from her plinth. The ground cracked under her feet. She was not stone anymore, or not only stone. She moved with fluid, terrifying grace, and she stood over him, head tilted down exactly as she'd been carved, but now her eyes were open and alive and fixed on him. The kiss of a living soul awakens the judgment protocol, she said, her voice settling into something more comprehensible, like a radio tuning in. I was sealed to sleep until a being willingly called me forth. You were warned. You chose. The protocol has begun. What protocol? Lyra demanded, stepping forward, voice shaking but steady. Vel'Morah turned her gaze slowly to Lyra. Your species will be evaluated, observed,
Tested.
If found unworthy, she paused. The Kathanu do not leave unworthy civilizations to grow. The silence that followed was the loudest Darren had ever heard.
He slowly got to his feet.
His knees were shaking. His smirk was completely gone. Okay, he said quietly. So, hypothetically, how do we pass? Vel'Morah looked at him for a long moment, and then, so faintly it might have been imagination, the corner of her stone-blue lips curved. That, she said, depends entirely on you. She turned and walked deeper into the canyon, each footstep a small earthquake, and the team stood frozen, watching her go. Lyra grabbed Darren's arm.
Hard.
You kissed a statue, she whispered. Yeah, he said. And now our entire species is on trial. Darren exhaled slowly.
Yeah.
Above them, the copper sky shifted, and far, far above the clouds, something very large began to move.